Hello everybody, thank you for watching the United Kingdom Speedrunner Gathering. Normally we are a 2-day speed running marathon held 4 times a year in Glasgow, Scotland, but due to the situation with COVID, we are bringing you 3 days of exciting speedruns from the comfort of our own homes to yours. Before we get underway, we would like to thank ESA for supporting our marathon. Besides providing us with their channel for streaming, they are sharing their gear, technical assistance and sponsors. Be sure to check out ESA's next event, which should be ESA Winter 2022 ? We'll have to see how that goes. But yes, coming up now again, it is Destructiox with Ex-Mutants. Take it away, my friend.
Rightio. Well, that was a bit of a demo play, don't worry about that. We haven't started yet. Yeah, Ex-Mutants, it's a game that's based off a comic book series. It was sort of made as a tie-in promotion with the relaunch of the Ex-Mutants comic series by Malibu. Malibu Comics did the comic side, Malibu Interactive did the video game side.
You probably never heard of Ex-Mutants, which tells you how well that relaunch went.
Indeed, true. I think they only had about one or two serialized runs before they stopped it again, so yeah, I don't think it went too well. But effectively, because there's really not enough time to go through it in the actual gameplay, a very, very brief overview. World War III's happened, nuclear, radiation, chemical weapons, they sort of fused together, and as a result, humanity's mutated. But there's a robot who developed technology to de-mutantize what was going on. So we've got 6 humans now: Ackroyd, Shannon, Bud, Piper, Dylan, and Tanya. During a reconnaissance mission to try and rescue some mutant slaves from Lord Sluggo, 4 of them were captured, and now we're left with Ackroyd or Shannon to play as to go and rescue the rest. But wait, there's more. There's also a need to collect power cells for the robot Professor Kildare, because he's running out of juice, basically. So we need to make sure to collect power cells and make our way through to the end and save all our friends. So we're going to begin the run now in 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, the first thing you're going to notice when we load in is I'm dropping down. I picked up these things off the floor. These are steel bombs. They're basically a secondary weapon, like in Castlevania you get like the cross or the holy water. These are steel bombs. They're incredibly useful. We're going to be using them a lot throughout the run. They bounce off of floors and walls and explode when they come into contact with enemies or other things they're meant to explode. Just like that. And because they bounce, we can do nice little trick shots like this to destroying the doors. We also use them for a glitch later on involving the bosses. But for now, whilst I've been talking about all that, we've already cleared the laboratory. So from here on out, we need to be picking up power cells. If we don't end the level with a power cell, Professor Kildare gets sad and we have to go back into the level to reclaim them. Like with most good platforming games, there is invincibility frames. However, in this game, the invincibility frames are incredibly harsh. Let's put it that way. However, that being said, we speedrunners have our ways, and as a result, we're still able to do a good, impressive amount of damage boosts. And also, there is a glitch where if you are knocked backwards when you take damage, you are able, for a few frames, to jump again in midair. So we're going to be doing a number of damage boost jumps as well to clear sections of levels. So that's the first level done. Moving into Caves 2 now, and effectively it's more the same. We're using the steel bombs to take care of the enemies before we even get to them. We're going to be jumping off of this saw blade to get a little bit of a boost, get up that ladder faster. We're going to hop over these enemies, and we're going to damage boost through the Stomper using the little fire that they shoot out, and then we have time to jump over the second. We're going to hop off of all these platforms, damage boost, jump off this saw blade, and hopefully, if my timing is right, hop the charges. We hop the charges! There's like a 5-second time save. We've got the power cell for Kildare. Now we make our way to the boss, Beefcake.
So get ready for this.
Yeah, here's Beefcake.
Watch closely.
Here's Beefcake. Bye-bye, Beefcake. So what happened there was a damage overflow glitch. We overlap the secondary steel bomb, and we overlap the little knives that we have upgraded for our axe, and the game doesn't know what to do and just instantly deletes the boss. That's effectively our main strategy for defeating every single boss in the game except for Sluggo. He has no hitbox that interacts with the bombs or the knives, sadly, so we have to fight him the old-fashioned way. But that being said, we're now on to the donation reader's best friend, the auto-scroller, so if there's anything you have to say, Arg, now's a good time.
Oh boy! Well, I do want to say that while we are going through the auto-scroller here, we would also like to thank BSG for supporting this marathon. They hold bi-monthly gatherings in the Netherlands. You may have seen them on the ESA channel as well. They over there are our friends and have supported UKSG from the beginning by spreading the word about us and providing us with their channel to stream on in past sessions, among other things. Mark your calendars because their next event will be coming soon and it is streamed on this very channel, so you won't need to go very far to watch it.
Yeah, so the next stage is coming up. It has an interesting quirk to it. It's the only time in the game we actually get to skip a boss, strictly speaking. If you would want to cover that for me, Nessa, while I take care of the level. Mima, if you want to take care of that.
Yeah, so, well, in general, this level has actually changed a lot. When this first started, there was an entirely different way that we handled this. But basically, we are coming up to a mini-boss now, who is going to be sat on a ledge. So we're actually going to take a little bit of a longer route to get to him. But by jumping from here, we've not actually activated the boss. And now the boss is dead before we even activated. So it means that the kill zone at the bottom of the map doesn't actually activate, so we can just jump straight down. It did have a fun effect when the trick was first found out. It's actually really good at crashing the game as well. So just had to sort that one out to be safe.
Yeah, thankfully we solved that issue. Like, it's not much that we're concerned about now. But also skipping that boss fight, quote unquote, also has the added effect of skipping the death animation, because a lot of these bosses are very dramatic. And they like to take a good while moaning before they actually pop off and, you know, let you progress. But by... Sorry, I just had to count there.
Yeah, you're going to get to enjoy Sluggo's moans at the end of the game when we beat him.
Well,
please
unless I get a
look
death
forward
animation skip. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, so normally we do death animation skips. That is intentionally taking a death after the boss has been beaten in order to skip the death animation, because it's that long that dying and loading back in actually still saves time. So if that gives you any idea, like now we've got a very good example of... Although we do get to catch Ackroyd's quippy one-liner. But yeah, death animation skips, effectively, they're used mostly... like, there's some bosses that just have pits, so you defeat the boss, fall in the pit, boom, jobs are good. And there's others like the boss we just beaten, El Motho. He spawns maggots on the ground, and normally the idea there is to defeat the boss and then die to the maggot, but none spawned that time around, so we couldn't do it. So this is the second auto-scroller in the game. This features one damage boost jump at the very end to get to the edge of the level just a little bit faster off the final enemy, but otherwise...
It's also a very scary one to watch.
yeah. It's almost as spooky as Ghostbusters, I'll tell you that one. But
that was a spooky game.
That was a spooky game. But yeah, again, if there's anything you've got to say, Arg, now's a good time.
Again?
Again?
I've caught unprepared and unawares. All I can say is, remember folks, we are raising money for Crisis here, and we do have a number of donation incentives open for the end of today and of course into Sunday. And yeah, like, it's an auto-scroller. I can't really say much more about this, Juna. You've put me on the spot.
No worries, no worries. Right, well, there's a couple of things that we can talk about. That's not a problem. I mean, for example, I'm playing as Ackroyd here, but there is actually another character you can play as, Shannon, as you saw. There are actually marked differences between the two characters. Shannon starts with less health, does less damage, but she is faster, and her weapon has a longer attack range. I put the faster in quotes because when I did a bunch of running, I fluffed that. When I did a bunch of running before, that's a minute 40. When I did a bunch of running before with Shannon and with Ackroyd, the simplest stages with no tricks for Ackroyd to take advantage of, because he has more health, he can do more tricks in a stage effectively. What it means, like, on the simpler stages, you'd expect Shannon to be faster because she's listed as being faster. but as a matter of fact, the stages are practically the same time, with only human error really accounting for difference. So the fact that they say that she's a high-speed character and Ackroyd is a medium is a bit naughty, because it doesn't seem to be the case.
Basically, the two characters have their good qualities. It's just that the good qualities for Shannon are not good.
Basically, yeah. The longer attack range is actually somewhat... It actually can be a hindrance in some instances. It is nice for Sluggo, I'll be fair, but then at the same time, Shannon only has 6 health to Ackroyd's 8, and Sluggo is very,
the
very
6
savage.
health for Shannon is
It's
like
very
such a
noticeable.
downer because basically, like, well, really you want to get one of the permanent life upgrades. Well, semi-permanent life upgrades, just to make her be able to do the same tricks that you can do. Getting that in itself means that you're losing time going out to get that. So the character described as fastest is absolutely not at all the fastest.
Indeed.
But we're coming up on the sewers now, which is it's Death's claim to fame, I guess, in terms of speedrunning.
It's the shortest stage in the game, without a doubt.
Basically,
I'm doing it again, what a mad lad. But this time we actually made it. No worries.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, basically that jump is so scary because if you touch the right screen of the side first,
right side
you
of
go
the
to
screen
the next
first.
level. Yeah, I don't know what's that. If you touch the bottom of the screen first, well, guess what? You've got to do the river ride again. Hope you're looking forward to more auto scrollers. But thankfully, that was the last auto scroller of the game. Now there is one more kind of transition area between the levels, but it's a proper level rather than a unpleasant auto scroller experience. So that Sewers 1 done already by using some damage boost. It's already over, and now into Sewers 2, where the probably the most unpleasant boss is, in my opinion.
Yes, the boss at the end of here is an absolute nightmare. He wiggles around a lot at the start, so it's a little more tricky to get the insta-kill on him. And if you aren't successful, he's even more erratic when he's moving around the arena, so it makes it hard to get the insta-kill again. But he also comes out of a water pit, so if you fail the glitch and fall into the pit, you're looking at another 2 minutes just trying to defeat that boss. Because he is very erratic, he's very dangerous. So
you'll see what we're talking about in a minute, because we're just coming up to him now in probably 10-15 seconds. The ideal goal is that you kind of do a YOLO jump at him, basically. You take him out as you jump into him, and then you fall straight down into the pit that he came out of and die. Because he has a
skip.
He has an insanely long animation for when he's dying. And you can also kill him while he's dying, which is interesting. Then the kill just went off perfectly. You appear at the other side of the pit, you've skipped the long animation, and now we're on the train going to the final level of the game.
Yeah, the train's a bit interesting because, as I say, it's sort of like an intermissionary. It's a level that takes you between different zones because you're traveling on this nice high-speed train. But also because of that, like the minecart and the rapids, it has no checkpoints. So if you die, it's back to the start for you. Normally I do a strat where I play this a lot faster by trying to beat cycles on these enemies with the flails, but I'm not taking my chances right now because we've already died once on the rapids. So we're just going to play a little safer. Which we're doing quite well, to be fair. So.
One of the worst parts of this level is the bats, because they're just so difficult to see. I never see them when I'm watching. They just come out of nowhere.
It's just the telltale chirp is what you kind of have to work with, really. But the subway's cleared, no problem.
Very smooth. They have dodgy respawns as well, don't they?
Yeah, basically, if they're off screen, but their respawn is on screen, they will respawn. If you kill them, generally they won't respawn. But it's still a bit iffy in how they're handled, so it can be a bit awkward.
So now we're in the wonderfully named Sluggo Town, run by Sluggo. Surprise, surprise.
That's Lord Sluggo.
Oh, Lord, sorry. Was that a baby skip we just got?
Yep. Casual baby skip.
That's a very precise jump that you have to do to bounce off one enemy, but it lets you jump over one of these described babies.
Yeah, they have a very high-pitched sound when you hit them, so I call them babies. But yeah, they do 2 contact damage as opposed to all the other enemies in this stage that do 1, so you obviously want to hit other enemies and not the babies.
Is it Brian that we just jumped over?
Oh god, yeah, Bruce.
Was-
Bruce.
Bruce,
Because you won't
Bruce,
like him when
that's
he's
it,
angry.
Yeah. They just stand there minding their own business, but if you attack them, their brain and spinal cord pops out and starts chasing you.
Yeah.
Which is not a very nice like quirk to have, to be honest.
They don't chase you far, but they're still quite nasty.
So we're just going to kill this guy. This guy's going to give us a full health, and that's what we're going to use to go into the final boss fight now. As we mentioned, you cannot use the insta-kill on this boss, so we have to sit here and just do it the old-fashioned way by beating him to death with this axe. Unfortunately, we have got a whole bunch of things that can go on in this fight. We've got all these planes dropping bombs down on you. You've got his assistant throwing bombs at you as well, and if the bomb hits the ground, it drops rocks on you. He's whipping his tail at you every few times you hit him. He's whipping his tail on a random timer, or mostly random timer. He spits fire. I mean, what else do you want in a boss fight, really? Other than a free full life
on Fade to Black.
conveniently in the corner. Oh yeah, time on Fade to Black, which is good.
I'm really upset about that death on the Rapids, because otherwise that was an absolutely smashing run, I have to say. So we could pretend that didn't happen. That was an absolutely smashing run. I'm very proud with the way that went. But that's the end of Ex-Mutants for you all. We've defeated Lord Sluggo, we've saved all our friends and got enough power cells for Professor Kildare for years to come. Not bad in one day's work. But yeah, effectively that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed Ghostbusters. I hope you enjoyed Ex-Mutants as well. If you ever want to see more of these games, you can always come down onto my stream, twitch.tv/Destructiox. I'm normally, live at the weekends and what have you, so feel free to pop in. Cheers to UKSG for having me. It was an absolute pleasure. Cheers to Argik for being my host and my donation reader. Cheers to the staff, tech, and crew. These things aren't easy to set up. And final thanks to my commentator Mima for giving me a help throughout this.
Yeah, no worries. We made it. I do have a Twitch, but I don't do speedruns, so yeah, I won't show that.
Twitch.tv/HackerayDeity.
All of that.
Well, there you go. Thank you very much for those runs. They were absolutely fantastic. Enjoy them. And no, we didn't see no death on an auto scroller there. No, not at all. But we are going to move on now. We're going to get ourselves set up, taking a quick intermission here. But when we return, we're going to get ourselves some DuckTales. Woohoo!